Hello and welcome to my weekly YouTube video and blog. This week it's Blast from the Past. And hi, I'm Kate with Kate's Paper Creations. So I try to pull out every so often either discontinued or carried over stamp sets that we have a tendency to lose track of sometimes because we pull out all that new stuff from the new catalogs and we get all excited about it and we forget that we have things on the shelf or in the drawer that we haven't used for a while. So that's what I try to do, is pull it out, put some of the new product with it, and give it new life. This week I am featuring the Country Home stamp set. This stamp set is still available in the catalog, current catalog, and so it's a carryover from last year, and I'm going to use it with some new items to make a Christmas card. So let's get started. I started with my standard A2 greeting card, which is Whisper White Thick, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it will end up being a side fold greeting card. Then this is a piece of the 'Tis the Season Designer Series paper, 6 by 6. I have Designer Series paper and I have cut it to 4 1/4 by 5.5, so it will cover the entire front of the card. And I'm just going to attach that. Just like that. There we go. Then I cut out using the Word Wishes, which is also a carryover from previous years. It was in the 2019-2020 catalog, so just a year ago. And it has all these wonderful words. And I cut out Merry Christmas from gold foil using those dies. And before I cut them out, I actually remembered to put the double-sided adhesive on the back of these. Stampin' Up! Sells the double-sided adhesive sheets, and put it on the back of the foil and then cut it out, and so when I peel it up it'll be sticky right away. And also when you do that, you want to be sure and either shim your cutting plate or run it through, back and forth 3 or 4 times, because it's got to cut through that extra layer and you want it to cut out really well. So I'm going to use my handy dandy little pokey tool and just get that adhesive, that covering back off of that, and peel it off. And now it is sticky and it will be easy to put down. Just like that. And then we got the Mary we got to do, and there's a little Brad in the center of there, Chad I should say, and I'm going to cut that out and get this up here. Come on, you can do it. There it comes. Those pokey tools do come in handy. Okay, and there's the word Mary, and we will put it right like that. So there's the word Merry Christmas. Then I put a piece of gold foil across here. Now I had some of that wrapped in plaid papers from last year, and it had beautiful gold thread through most of the plaids. It was very, very pretty, but I wanted to bring in some of the newer colors and newer papers. So this one didn't have that, but this was my way to add, this was my way of adding some gold and some sparkle to this card. And so we'll put this on there. This is all just getting the front of the card prepped and ready for the art piece that we are going to attach. And this piece is 3/4 by 4 1/4. The piece I cut for cutting out the Merry Christmas was 5 by 1.5. 1.5 inches tall, 1.5 inches tall, 5 inches wide, gave me room to cut this out. And I put the adhesive on the back of that. And then this one was, as I said, 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, that's the front of the card. Now we're going to set that aside, and we're going to do our milk can and flowers. So here's the milk can, and I'm coloring it with Smoky Slate, light and dark. Find both of them. There they are. Blends pins. I love coloring with the blends pins. Everything, it just goes on smooth no matter what you're doing. It does bleed through, so you do have to be sure and have something behind it when you're working with them. And you also can't use it like on the front of a card, because if you open up the card, it will show. So it's kind of a layering process. But let's do the watering can. So I'm going to just color the entire can with light gray, just all over. Don't have to be super careful. Like I said, the marks, the streaks won't show. It won't show lines. Once it's all done, it just gets a nice uniform color, and it's just really easy to use. So there's the light gray. Then we'll bring in the dark gray, and I'm going to just do some dark gray on my handles here and in here, just to kind of give this some variety. I'm going to do dark across that. I'm going to do dark all the way across here. And then I'm going to take this dark, and I'm going to just come in from the sides like this. And then if you do it while it's really still wet and come in and blend like this, it won't be quite such an obtrusive shading. It'll be a little more subtle, which is what I want. So I'm going to do that all the way around here. And again, come back with the light and come in and draw that into the center. Just like that. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's just a very subtle darkening to the edges. And that makes it so it looks more rounded, gives it some dimension. And then I also brought in the color lifter, and I took just a little bit more of the color and out of the middle. And it'll start to show up here in a minute, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There, it's starting to show up. And it gave it just that little bit of a highlight on the high point of the center. So, and it dries almost instantly. You don't have to worry too much about that. And let me hold it up a little bit. Don't know if that helps you see it any better, but you can kind of see the shading on it. So it gives it some dimension. Then we're going to color the flower arrangement, and you need 2 of them for this. And so I've colored a couple of them, but I'm going to show you again just a little bit about how I did that. So I used Old Olive Dark, and I used the narrow tipped end to color the little round flowers, or whatever you want to call them, those little round ones. And I also colored these individual leaf ones, and boy, with this pen, it's just so easy. So you can tell I'm just literally just drawing it along, and it just fills them up perfectly and puts the color where we need it to be. I do like these blends pens. I was resistant at first, but let me tell you, I have gotten hooked. Okay, there's those, and I'm going to be using that again in a minute. Let's see, I did the cattails with light and dark crumb cake. And I started with the light and just colored the whole thing. Oh, and that was the dark. Always something. Better to start with the light. I may end up coming back and using the color lifter on that one too. And then I come back with the dark and did that. And then again, just pulled that darkness in so you get some shading. And like I said, I may come in with my color lifter and give this one some shading, since I kind of goofed. Let's see what happens. Give it a second to lift. and that did help. Okay. Then I used Real Red Light to color the red flowers. To make this look Christmassy, it had to have some red in it. And so it's kind of hard to tell which are flowers and which are leaves. You just have to choose. And that's what I did. I just chose what I was going to do. They could all be leaves most easily. But I just chose some to be red. And let's see, let's do this. And this one. Just like that. Then for the rest of them, I started by using Petal Pink Dark. And I came in and I literally just colored the entire leaf sections with Petal Pink. And you'll see why in a second. Because it has just a subtle effect when you come back in with the light Old Olive and go over the top of it. It leaves a slight tinge to it. That pinkish tinge is still there. And I really liked the way it came, some of the pink. And I didn't worry about getting clear to the edges or clear in the corners, and so you can see some of the pink showing through. And then you can still come back with the dark and add some accents here and there. And literally, I just do them random. I'm not an artist. I have no idea what shading means. So don't be intimidated by those people out there that really are artists and really do know how to color everything. One thing I will tell you too, I don't know if you can tell, but these are really quite well cut out. This one I hand cut, I fussy cut it myself. But then I remembered I have a Silhouette Cameo. So what I did is I stamped this with Memento Black. I scanned it. I took it into my Cameo and traced it, and then slightly enlarged the outline so that it would leave a little bit of an edge. And then I can cut these out. They're already printed and cut, and I can color them, and makes life a lot more easy. So if you have a Silhouette Cameo and you would like, and you own this set, you can get a hold of me and we'll see what we can do for you. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Then I also, so we're going to use those two things. Then I also used some gold foil, and I used this stem right here from Butterfly Gala. And I got this wild, crazy idea that I would turn my foil upside down and cut it this way. Put the die on and cut it this way. And when I did that, it created a whole different look. And I really, really liked it. My cutting plate is kind of getting worn, and it's got this texture worked into it because it's been used so many times. Well, that texture pressed into the gold, and then these little balls on the ends of the stems are indented instead of raised like they would be. And it's just something I experimented with, and I really like the look. So that's what I did. And I think they look pretty cool, actually. So that's totally up to you. So now it's a matter of building also. And oh, I also put a tree on here, and the tree came from Warm Hugs. It's got an outline and a filler, and I have those two stamps right here. And I used Shaded Spruce, excuse me, and I'm going to put a Christmas tree on the front of the watering can, or the milk can, or whatever I'm going to call it here. So there's the outline. And then here comes the tree. A little bit off, so I'm going to come back with it just a touch here at the bottom. And so it's got a little tree on the front. Okay, let's build the flowers. I just put some adhesive on the back. It's going to get eventually put on with dimensionals, but we're going to build it here. and it's going to go on the front, and it's going to kind of overlap. And so I'm going to overlap these two pieces so it makes it a little bit wider, about like that, I think. And then I'm going to attach it to the front of the watering can, and it's going to come out over the edges like it's just really big and full. Okay, then I just took these and I just put a bunch of tape on the back so I could make them stick where I want them. And I just put them wherever I felt like I wanted one to come poking out. And it just adds a little bit more dazzle or color to the arrangement. And this one, I'm going to kind of bring it in and have it kind of overlap so it looks like it's poking out. And then let's put this one kind of right in here somewhere. And I'm just sticking those to the back until I get them where I want them. And then I put one down so it would go down in here from in here a little bit. And I have to trim it to do that. Where's my scissors? I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. And I'm going to put some where's my glue here? And I'm going to put some Zig 2-way just on a couple of these so it will stay in place. And then I'm going to tuck it in here because I wanted something kind of in front of those other pieces. So there's my flower piece. I like it, you know, and it's totally a matter of choice how you do it. So then, now that that's all together, we're going to turn it over and we are going to put dimensionals on the back. And I put quite a few on, partly because it helps finish holding everything in place, and partly because I did want it well supported. So let's see here and here. Let's put one in the middle. I think that's probably enough. Yeah, get those off of there. Got green on my thumb. I don't know if it'll help me grow a garden or not. Here we go. One more piece to come off of there. Get those out of my way. Bring the card front back in. And then I put this so it's just partially on that foil and rather centered. And it kind of looks like it's sitting on a little table. And that's the front of the card. Isn't that cute? Then on the inside, I did cut two pieces. They are 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I am going to put them in on the top and the bottom of the card. Just like this. There's that one. And there's that one. And then you could stamp your sentiment in there or just leave it blank for someone to be able to write their own sentiment. I'm going to double do this edge so it lays very nice. There we go. Then I did the envelope like I've been doing. I love just covering those flaps. So if you haven't seen my previous videos, I set this down on top of the DSP. I trace around it on the back side of whatever I want to put on it. And I cut it out, just hand cut it. And then I put the adhesive right on the envelope flap itself, as close to the edge as I can get it. so it'll be held down well. And then I can attach this to the envelope. And I match up to the folded edge first, because then if I need to, I can trim. There we go. And then you can open it up and see if anything needs to be trimmed. I'm never actually totally perfect. Maybe you are, but I'm not. And so you can see there's a little bit extra, so I'm going to trim that off here. And I'll trim this a little bit too, just following the edge of the envelope. Now you may kind of wonder why I'm not using the new envelope dies. It's because I don't use Stampin' Up! Envelopes. So, but there you go. There is today's Blast from the Past Country Home. Hope you enjoyed today's video.